The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Help is on the way.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
There is a tradition in this country, in fact, one of the prides of this country is the peaceful transition of power, and that no matter how hard fought a campaign is, that at the end of the campaign, that the loser concedes to the winner, not saying that you're necessarily going to be the loser or the winner, but that the loser concedes to the winner and that the country comes together in part for the good of the country. Are you saying you're not prepared now to commit to that principle?
What I'm saying is that I will tell you at the time. I'll keep you in suspense.
Well, Chris, let me respond to that because that's horrifying. You know, every time Donald thinks things are not going in his direction, he claims whatever it is rigged against him. The FBI conducted a year-long investigation into my emails. They concluded there was no case. He said the FBI was rigged. He lost the Iowa caucus. He lost the Wisconsin primary. He said the Republican primary was rigged against him. Then Trump University gets sued for fraud and racketeering. He claims the court system and the federal judge is rigged against him. There was even a time when he didn't get an Emmy for his TV program 3 years in a row, and he started tweeting that the Emmys were rigged against him.
Should have gotten it.
This is a mindset. This is how Donald thinks. And it's funny, but it's also really troubling.
Okay.
No, that is not the way our democracy works. We've been around for 240 years. We've had free and fair elections. We've accepted the outcomes when we may not have liked them. And that is what must be expected of anyone standing on a debate stage during a general election.
Yeah. She called it. She called it. It was horrifying what he said. I will tell you at the time. I will tell you and that became a thing, right? Because everybody understood Donald Trump was never going to accept the result of an election he lost. Never, ever. We didn't have to deal with it in 2016 because he freaking won. Okay, that fraud, trippy thing that he had going on there, that complete, ruse that he was running, that game that he was playing. It actually, gave him the presidency. He actually won, so we didn't have to deal with it. But now we do because he lost. He finally freaking lost. People were sick of him. People were tired of the evil, the ugly, the nasty. Okay, they were sick of the racism. They were sick of the hating and the punch you in the face stuff and the incitement to violence and every other thing that this man stood for. And there were good people on both sides. You had white supremacists that were fine people. People rejected it. Women rejected it. Educated people rejected it. Young people rejected it. They showed up in droves, and the swing states swung the other way. They swung back. And it seems to me like, he accepted he tried to, not accept Wisconsin. He tried to argue about Michigan, too. That Antrim County. He created what was her name? Miss Carmona. Was that her? I signed the affidavit. Remember her? I think she actually ended up running for.
I signed an affidavit.
I signed an affidavit. And if you sign an affidavit and you lie, that you could go to jail for that. And I signed it. So I don't know why she's not one of these unindicted co-conspirators, but from what I can guess from the 30 not named, doesn't seem like any of them are her. It doesn't seem like any of them are members of the House or the Senate, which is, I'm weeping over here for our country, but it doesn't seem like it. People, like I said yesterday, there were 30 unidentified co-conspirators in this 98-page indictment that Fani Willis, handed down, that the grand jury actually handed down. Fani Willis asked them, after she presented the evidence to them, if they would like to indict Donald Trump and others. And they said, yeah, there's quite a few people that we think ought to be held accountable for breaking the law in this particular instance. It just seems to me like Georgia, being a southern state and all, was something he just couldn't abide. It was just such a slap in his orange pumpkin face that he just couldn't accept that. And so he decided to interfere. I mean, I don't know, Arizona, he tried to, he hired, cyber ninjas. Put them through hell too, right? Because he wanted to touch the machines. He wanted somebody in there to plant evidence to say that these machines were unreliable, that votes were duplicating, they were being switched, they were being flipped. And that evidence was not, it wasn't available because it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So he put the state of Arizona through absolute hell. But, the people that tried to, touch the machines that copied the hard drives off of those machines in Coffee County after the insurrection, they are indicted in that particular, this latest indictment. It just seems like he just couldn't handle losing a southern state where he just thought, that Republicans don't lose southern states. So how could he lose in Georgia? I think this was just something he could. And so he decided that he was going to make phone calls and extort people and scare them and tell them that, he did win and you will be sorry because as president, he can get his retribution on you. It's not going to be good for Ryan Germany, the lawyer, right? Ryan, it's not going to be good for you. You're not allowed to, do this, and it's illegal. And I'm notifying you. I'm notifying you. These are the words he used. I'm notifying you that what you're doing is illegal. I'm telling you, right? So anyway, the 30. I'm looking at the 30, and I don't see anybody that we would know or any. I mean, there's obviously no names in it, but even the descriptions, the closest I can get. To one of the unindicted might be, Jack Smith's number 6. We think it's Boris Epstein. Can't you change your name like every other Russian who immigrated into this country did? Epstein. Yeah, we think it's him. I think he's one of those. But the others, there's 13 of them that I believe are fake electors. In this indictment. And then there are random, it's like all the people in this video. Let me show you this real quick. I don't have to play the whole thing. You'll know. But this is Coffee County. This is Kathy Latham. And obviously that Misty Hampton girl who wrote the invitation to come on down and you could touch our machines. You can, do whatever your heart little desires, your little heart desires to our machines.
The newly obtained surveillance video shows a Republican county official and a team of operatives working for Trump attorney Sidney Powell.
Okay, so there's one, let's see, this over here we know is Kathy Latham, right? All these people whose identity is blurred or pixelated, if you will, if you mind, except for the dog. I don't even know the dog's name, but I don't think the dog was indicted. But I believe everybody in this video here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 people. One is named, and those other 4 make up the 30 that we haven't got names for yet. But obviously, Trump. Trump does not want to be tried in state court. So already there are, machinations. Already there are, moves being discussed about taking this trial from the district court in Fulton County, Georgia, and giving it over to the federal court, putting it in federal court. Well, we all know through, the school of hard knocks here, okay, we all know that the federal court is a court that a president can issue a pardon from. Like if you've been indicted, if you've been tried, if you've been found guilty in a federal case, you know that the president of the United States, whoever that might be, can pardon that person. But a president cannot pardon that person from state convictions, right? And so that was part of the beauty, just part of it, just a little sweet sliver of, seeing Fonnie Walsh indict him in state court. But they're already talking about moving it to the feds. Now, the argument being made is Donald Trump and Mark Meadows and others who were indicted in this indictment were using their official office at the time. And so, therefore, they need to be in federal court. But are you allowed to use your federal office to commit crime? So is that official duties? Criming? Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to randyrhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.